Good morning. Today is April 29th, 2020. Go ahead and prepare your resources for today. You need something to write with, paper and dictionary.com pulled up on a separate tab. Okay, today's objective is students will be able to understand the purpose of figurative language and the effects that it has on a work of literature. So yesterday we looked at applying figurative language and descriptive language to tone and mood. I'm going to backtrack and go back to just figurative language, and I'm going to show you a few more types of figurative language that you should know going into high school. Before that, we're going to go ahead and get into some vocabulary. You have one word today that I want you to define, and that word is apprehensive. Apprehensive is an adjective. Go ahead and type this in on dictionary.com and write the definition in your notes. Okay, we're going to go ahead and get started with our grammar workshop. We are looking at verbs. As you learned yesterday, a verb is an action, state, or occurrence. What you need to know today is an adverb describes a verb. Um, and so and it's going to basically describe how the action, state, or occurrence is taking place. Let me show you what that looks like on the next slide. You have some examples over here, such as nearly, enough, however, apparently, actually, carefully, quietly. Those are all ways to describe how things occur. Um, let's look at some examples. Excuse the typo at the top. This should say grammar workshop verbs, not nouns. Um, and so for each sentence, you're going to identify the adverb. For example, Michael quickly ran to the finish line, making him first place in the race. So we know the action here that took place is that Michael ran. What we want to look for is how did he run? How can we describe how he ran? And so the way we can describe him running is quickly. Quickly is the manner in which he ran. It's the way that he did the action. Let's try another one. The baby slept peacefully after a busy day at the zoo. So we're going to look at what is the action taking place? Slept. The baby is sleeping. How is the baby sleeping? The baby is sleeping peacefully. And now I want you to try this last one on your own. I'm going to give you about 30 seconds to identify the adverb in the next one and write it on your paper. Sarah reads carefully because she doesn't want to miss anything. Again, Sarah reads carefully because she doesn't want to miss anything. So go ahead and identify your verb and then tell me how is that verb being done? What's your adverb? So you should have identified carefully. Sarah is reading, and the manner in which she's reading is carefully. Going into your revising and editing for today, we're looking at using quotation marks. So quotation marks are put on the sides of spoken or written words that came from someone else. Basically, quotation marks are our way of marking dialogue when you're reading. They can go at the beginning or end of a sentence, they can go in the middle, or you can have broken quotes. So, for example, if they're at the beginning of the sentence, it would say something like, "Tomorrow will be 76 and cloudy," said the meteorologist. The meteorologist said that tomorrow will be 76 and cloudy. Therefore, you're going to have quotes around that particular part. You could also have it at the end of a sentence by saying, the meteorologist said tomorrow will be 76 and cloudy. Again, the actual dialogue coming from the meteorologist is tomorrow will be 76 and cloudy. So I'm going to have quotes around there. You could also have it in the middle of a sentence by saying, the meteorologist said tomorrow will be 76 and cloudy in her weather report. Another way to do that is in a broken quote by saying, tomorrow, said the meteorologist, will be 76 and cloudy. So what we're going to do now is we're going to determine where the quotation marks belong in each sentence that I show you, and then I want you to go in and add appropriate punctuation as well, such as a period, a question mark, or an exclamation mark. For example, no standing up while the bus is in motion, yelled the bus driver. And so again, we want to look at what did the bus driver actually say? Where is our dialogue? We know that the bus driver said no standing up while the bus is in motion. So our quotes are going to go there. We also know that the bus driver yelled. And we know from yesterday's lesson that when someone is yelling, you use an exclamation mark. So your sentence will look like this. No standing up while the bus driver is in motion, end quote, exclamation mark, yelled the bus driver. Let's try another one. When I asked my mom about the sleepover, she said, I think that's a great idea. And so what we want to look at here is who said something. The mom said something. What did she say? She said, I think that's a great idea. And so our quotes are going to go around, I think that's a great idea. I want you to try this next one on your own. I'm going to give you about 1 minute to copy the sentence using appropriate punctuation. So here it is. Wait, said Ashley, maybe I can go after all. So I need you to identify here, where do the quotation marks belong? Wait, said Ashley, maybe I can go after all. And please use this anchor chart here in the right corner to help you with this one in particular. You have about 1 minute. You should have realized that this is a broken quote, very much like our last example here. And so you're going to have quotation marks in two particular places. You'll have them around wait, and you have them around maybe I can go after all, because those are both things that Ashley said. Let's move on into our lesson for today. We're looking again at figurative language. And so just a reminder, diction is the author's word choice. There's many types of ways to use diction, such as figurative language, which is a type of descriptive language where the meaning is not to be taken literally. Remember that all diction can help us understand tone and mood, including figurative language. So we looked at four particular types last week. We looked at metaphors, similes, hyperboles, and personification, which most of us already knew. So that was more so of a review. Today I'm going to go over three that you may or may not know and show you how those look in text. So the first one I want you to know is alliteration. And again, we probably learned alliteration in seventh grade, but this is just to review this one. Alliteration is the use of the same beginning consonant sound in a line or verse. For example, Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. So the consonant sound that's repeating there is the letter P. That will let us know that this is alliteration. I'll give you a moment to write that down. The next one that I want you to know, and I know most of us know this one, we like this one a lot, is onomatopoeia. Not only because it sounds funny, but because we know that that's just like sounds. It's basically a word that imitates the sound it represents. For example, splash, pop, or bang. Those are all sounds that are like spelled out. Make sure you write this down. And here's the one that we may or may not know. It's idioms. So an idiom is a phrase that means something different than what it's actually saying, very similar to a metaphor. However, these are used way more commonly in our society, and you may hear them, and we kind of just know that that's not what it actually means, and that there's a literal meaning behind it. For example, it's raining cats and dogs. We know when we hear that idiom that that's not actually what's happening. It's just a way of saying that it's raining heavily. Another example may be um, someone saying, I'm not going to give you my answers over my dead body. That's not literal at all. It's not worth their life, but that's just their way of saying, like, there's no way I'm going to give you this. So let's go ahead and practice identifying alliteration, onomatopoeia, and idioms. The corn went pop in the microwave. The corn went pop in the microwave. So I notice here pop, which is a sound, and I know when I hear sounds, I have an onomatopoeia. That test was a piece of cake. That test was a piece of cake. So we want to look at here, piece of cake, and think, was the test literally a piece of cake? No, that's not the case. I know a lot of you probably wish it were, but no, the test was not actually a piece of cake. It's just an expression. So this is an idiom. I can tell you don't like the movie. It's written all over your face. So I want you to try this one on your own and look at here where it says it's written all over your face. Take about 30 seconds to identify what this is. I can tell you don't like the movie. It's written all over your face. So ask yourself, does the person actually have I don't like this movie written on their face? No. This is just something that we know what that means. It means that your facial expression shows me that. And so this is an idiom. And last one, Susie sells seashells by the seashore. Say that 5 times fast. Susie sells seashells by the seashore. So we have a consonant sound repeating here. What sound do we notice is repeating in this sentence? We have repetition of the S sound, and we know that when consonant sounds at the beginning are repeated, this is alliteration. Hopefully you got all 4 of these right on the first try. If not, you're about to get some practice. So I want you to go to the General tab, click on Assignments, and you have April 29th practice. This is due not Monday. I'm going to fix that right now so that you know it's not due Monday. This is due Thursday at 11:59 p.m. Excuse that typo. So this is due Thursday at 11:59. I would recommend doing it right now because it's only 10 questions and they're multiple choice, so that you can go ahead and get your grade right away. As always, I'm online if you need any help. Don't forget that you have other assignments due this week. Not many of us have turned in the assignment that's due tomorrow, so go ahead and get on that as well and read that Sandra Cisneros story so that we're not submitting any late work. That being said, hope you all have a beautiful day. Please reach out if you have any questions. And that's all.